Boy, oh boy, is it a good day to be a Jurassic Park / World fan, because we just got a huge amount of info from the new Jurassic World Rebirth trailer, and I just have to say, I was right. I wasn't expecting to see three, like, modern-day Spinosauruses teaming up with a Mosasaur or whatever it was, you know, going up against a boat. And speaking of that, these Spinosauruses, they look a little bit different. They don't look like the one from Jurassic Park 3. They actually look a little bit smaller, actually. Clearly, these ones are supposed to look like the modern-day version of the Spinosaurus, not the one from 2001. So maybe there's some explanation to that, but I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So the main plot of the trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth is that they're trying to go after the three biggest dinosaurs that exist. And it's all on this island, which is the original research facility for Jurassic Park. But things go wrong. So things are going good. They're, they're like traversing. We have Scarlett Johansson's character, Zora Bennett, teaming up with, I forgot his name already, but the scientist guy. He looks like Tim from the first Jurassic Park. And then there's also Mahershala Ali, whose character's name is Duncan, I believe. And then we have this other guy who, for some reason, looks very similar to how I would picture John Hammond to look in the book. So, I don't know, maybe there's a coincidence there, I don't know. I'm sure everyone who's going to be watching this video right now is going to be interested to know what are the dinosaurs that are featured in this movie. Well, we're gonna kick it off straight away. The first one, which is, I believe, it's the sauropod that we saw in the teaser trailer from yesterday, or a couple of days ago. So it's a sauropod that we all kind of knew this was going to be a sauropod. I thought it was going to be Diplodocus, because that tail that was shown in the teaser, that is very clearly a sauropod tail. Sauropods don't really need a tail for balancing. That's something that is attributed to, like, bipedal carnivores and stuff. Sauropods have a tail for, like, using, like, as a weapon. So I thought it would be Diplodocus because the tail was so long and skinny. But that's not the case. They actually showed off the full creature, which I knew they would, which I don't think is Diplodocus because it looks way too big. Diplodocus was big, but this is even bigger. A lot of people are saying that this is Titanosaurus. I don't think it is because it just doesn't... this isn't how I would picture Titanosaurus to look like. It could be Supersaurus. I have no idea. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's what this first creature is. The next one, we have the pterosaurs. Now, they did say the three biggest creatures, or the three biggest dinosaurs in this movie. It kind of confuses me a bit because Quetzalcoatlus was the biggest pterosaur, and then the pterosaur that was shown off here, that's not a Quetzalcoatlus. We saw a Quetzalcoatlus in the sixth film. This doesn't look like that. Now, I know that this is supposed to be basically Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World, so all the dinosaurs will basically... I think we have to assume that these are basically all of the Jurassic Park designed dinosaurs, not Jurassic World. So basically we're looking at 30-year-old designs, which I'm going to get to that in a minute also. So it could be that it's sort of like the first generation Quetzalcoatlus and not the Biosyn looking one. I know that Biosyn was the one that, they made the Quetzalcoatlus from Jurassic World Dominion. So it could be that this was InGen's take on making a Quetzalcoatlus. I personally don't think it is Quetzalcoatlus because, that thing was massive. And this thing, it looks big, but it doesn't look that big. Quetzalcoatlus looked like a titan. This thing doesn't. The only other pterosaur I can think of that could rival the size and the looks of this thing is probably Hatzegopteryx, which I think was also one of the biggest pterosaurs. I think it was like the second biggest. Oftentimes it would be, I guess, either debatable as to which one was bigger, Hatzegopteryx or Quetzalcoatlus. So that's my theory. I think that this is probably Hatzegopteryx and not Quetzalcoatlus, which I think a lot of you guys would agree as well. We have our first look at the T-Rex. Now, I was going to say that I was hoping that this would be the baby T-Rex from The Lost World all grown up, because if we look at Junior from The Lost World, he has these stripes on him and stuff, and it's not well defined, but you can definitely see that there are stripes on this Rex. And if we look at the one in the trailer, this thing definitely has stripes, so I thought that maybe we would be getting our first look at an adult Junior, which I think a lot of people would be really excited about, but now I'm starting to kind of retract that idea, because this is an entirely different island, and I was suspecting that maybe they moved the Junior from, you know, Isla Sorna all the way over to this island, but I don't think that's the case anymore. So sadly, I don't think that is Junior. That's probably an entirely different Rex. So now I'm coming up with a new theory that this is probably one of the original T-Rexes. So like Rexy, like the Buck and Doe, the Bull T-Rex, I don't know what they're called, but so this could be the last original T-Rex. I don't know, but the thing is that this thing looks way too bulky, and it doesn't look scrawny, which tells me it's probably not very old. So the reason why it doesn't look very scrawny, doesn't look very old like Rexy, is because I thought that this could be Junior from the Lost World. But that is probably not the case anymore. It's probably just some other T-Rex that, I don't know. It's whatever. But the fact is that we got a really cool looking T-Rex. And also, we all kind of knew this, but they did show off the river scene that was straight out of the book. They actually showed this off in the trailer. I'm very excited about that. That looks so cool. I can't wait to see it. And then let's move on to some other dinosaurs. We also got to see Dilophosaurus, which I wasn't expecting to see that. And this time, it's fully CGI, which thank God, because the last few times we've seen it, it's always been an animatronic, which, you know, I get why they did that in Dominion, because it was sort of like a nod in how, like, they didn't need to use CGI for the Dilophosaurus, because in the first movie, there was no CGI for the Dilophosaurus. So I get why they did it in Dominion, but it's really kind of refreshing to actually see CGI being used for the Dilophosaurus in this movie. And it does look a little bit different. It actually looks kind of like the Dilophosaurus from the mobile game, actually. I'm going to pull up a picture of that right here. So that's cool. And then we have the new Spinosauruses. Now, this is where I get a little bit concerned, because if we're going off of, like how I mentioned in the last video, if we're going off of the lore with the Spinosaurus was never supposed to be created, because in the files or somewhere, they mentioned how it was an illegal experiment, it was never supposed to be made, and it was never really supposed to see the light of day, and yet it still exists. So if that thing wasn't meant to exist, why then are we seeing other Spinosauruses, unless it was like an illegal experiment to like mutate the one that we all know and love, and it turned out differently from these Spinosauruses. Like, these Spinosauruses were the original creations, and then they decided, let's make another one that's far superior, which is the one that we know of today. It could be true, I have no idea, but we could see the old Spinosaurus return, and, you know, there could be some kind of explanation as to why these Spinosauruses look different to the original one, but I'm guessing that might be the reason why we're seeing these, is because these were supposed to be the actual Spinosauruses, and the one from 2001 was sort of like the illegal experiment. So they took one of the original Spinosauruses, experimented with it, and then that's why we have the one that we all know and love from, 24 years ago. I'm fairly confident that these ones, because they're swimming, they are the ones that have like the tadpole type of tail. Like how they discovered recently how Spinosaurus had like a tail that was like a salamander's, so it swam, very much more efficiently and stuff. So I'm fairly confident. We don't really get a chance to see it very well in the trailer, but I'm fairly confident that these ones have a tail that's very similar to the ones from real life back in the day. But with that, so we also have another look at this Mosasaurus. Now, this, again, if we're going off the fact that these are all 1990s, 1980s InGen creations, this is supposed to be the Mosasaurus that we got before the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World and stuff. I thought it was maybe this thing, or it could have been like a Chronosaurus or something, I don't know. But the scientists mentioned that it was a Mosasaurus, and this thing looks bigger, dude. This thing looks built more like a whale rather than like a shark. The one in Rebirth definitely looks like it's more heavy. Like, that's probably the reason why the Spinosauruses are helping it, because this thing doesn't really hunt well. I don't know, but regardless, we got our first look at a new water creature, which is very, very cool. So the last dinosaur that I want to talk about, I don't even want to call it a dinosaur, it's a creature. I'll say creature. The last creature I want to talk about is quite possibly the scariest looking thing I've seen in a Jurassic film for quite some time. It is a hybrid, but it's not a dinosaur. This is what I'm assuming is supposed to be the human dinosaur hybrid that was being thought of as a concept so many years ago. And they actually did it. They actually showed it off. And it's how I can sum it up best is it's a xenomorph dinosaur with. And by the way, this thing is massive. I mean, here's a shot here of just its leg. That's just its leg, and in comparison to the tiny, puny humans on the left, this thing is gigantic. And here's another shot of its face. It's literally how people were describing it, as like a Geiger monster, like, you know, xenomorphs or aliens or species or whatever. This thing is creepy looking. And also, too, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, it has 6 limbs. And I know that might sound weird, but I literally mean 4 arms. It's got the rear legs, it's got the giant, you know, gorilla-looking arms, and then it has another set of smaller arms in the middle, you know, like the xenomorph queen almost. I mean, this thing is fucking creepy looking. It is insane. So this is the terrible dark secret that has been hidden from us for 30 plus years. This is the big bad villain of the movie that sadly I think Mahershala Ali's character will die to, because they show off the flare scene. I thought it was with the T-Rex because, you know, it's always been with the T-Rex with the flare. You know, it was in Jurassic Park, it was in Jurassic World, and, you know, now Rebirth, but it's not in Rebirth because it's like some kind of xenomorph, gorilla, hybrid, dinosaur-looking thing. But it does make me wonder, what exactly was the purpose of this creation? Because, at least with the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor, and I think the Scorpius Rex, those were supposed to be for creations for the military. And they made that very clear with the Indoraptor. Well, actually, no, they made that very clear with the Indominus Rex also. This thing is just, it's massive, it's creepy, it's disgusting looking, frankly. I do have to wonder if the rumors are true that this movie will be rated R, because this movie looks borderline horror. I mean, this is a horror monster. This is a monster, not a dinosaur. I mean, I can't get over how creepy this thing looks. So that's the hybrid. I don't know what it's called. I think there was a leak somewhere how in Spanish this thing translates to vilão or something like that, which is Spanish for villain, I think. I don't know what. Anyway, so that's with the whole creatures and stuff aside. Now let's talk about the other things that I saw in the trailer. Well, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but in terms of vehicles, I also happened to see what is quite possibly an Easter egg to like one of the original Jurassic Park toys. So I could be wrong, but I don't know if anyone else noticed this. I thought it was a Jeep. I'm sure everyone else did too. But I paused and I captured a couple of still frames of it, and it's a Humvee that is spec'd out to look like a Jurassic Park Jeep. But it's not a, you know, actual Humvee. It's like this, I don't know what it is, but to me, it looks like one of those old Jurassic Park toys. I'm sure anyone who's watching this will know what I'm talking about. I can't find any good images to describe what it is, but I know some of you who are watching this will know exactly what I'm on about. But I'm assuming that they're bringing that into the movie as like an Easter egg. So there's that. And then I also want to talk about this guy right here, because I think this guy is the villain, that there's somehow like a betrayal going on here, which a lot of other people were speculating is going to be some kind of thing that will happen. And also in this one other scene with the hybrid, it's behind this glass cage or whatever, I don't know what, but you can see this guy right here, he's pounding, he wants to get out. He's screaming for his life, he is desperate to get out. And then here's this other guy just chilling. Oh, hey, what's up, bro? So I definitely think that there is some kind of like betrayal thing that's going to happen here. So there's that. And then there's also the fact, too, that he just kind of gives off villain vibes. Like, you can just kind of look at this guy knowing he looks like a villain. This is a villain. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff that I really wanted to cover, but I don't have enough time to do it. So that's basically it. I just wanted to cover that, you know, we got a bunch of really cool dinosaurs, a lot of which I don't really know what they are. The Spinosaurus, T-Rex, Dilophosaurus, I know those for sure. And then there's just this ugly hybrid thing that looks effing scary. I mean, that will give kids nightmares if you do take your kid to go and watch the movie. This will give the parents nightmares, which is absolutely true because this thing looks psychopathic looking. It looks monstrous looking. So yeah, I'm sure that there's probably a lot of other things that you guys probably wanted me to talk about in this video, but I just wanted to kind of summarize it, just to kind of talk about the dinosaurs, because that's really what everyone's interested in, not really the plot. I'm sure the plot definitely helps, yes, but they are also interested in the dinosaurs. So I just wanted to talk about the dinosaurs and the really cool Easter egg that I noticed and what I'm theorizing about the villain in this and the hybrid monster. But yeah, that's basically about it. Thank you for watching.